Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everyone who is joining us today from wherever you're joining us. It is 7 o'clock in the evening here in Dallas, Texas, in the United States, where I'm at this evening. Good to see everyone. I'm Julie Bates, and I'm the Donor Relations Manager at the International Elephant Foundation. And welcome to our conservation chat this evening. I'm going to go over a few housekeeping items. First of all, you may have seen when you first logged on that we are recording this session. And if you would like a copy of the recorded session, if you signed up through the Constant Contact link, your name will automatically be on that list. And if you didn't sign up through that, you can directly email me and I'll put my email address in the chat so you'll have that. Also, once we get going with the presentation, we're going to ask everybody to make sure that they have their microphones on mute and your cameras off to save bandwidth because our guest is coming to us from across the world. And then also, if you have questions as we go through the presentation, put them in the chat. And our moderator will go through and we'll ask the questions. And then if we have time at the end, we may have time to let people unmute and ask questions directly. So we're going to have a really good session. And I want to go ahead and introduce Deborah Olson, who is our executive director. She's here on the line and she's waving. And then also, now I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Conley, who is IEF's conservation coordinator, and she's going to be our moderator this evening. So I'll let you take it away, Sarah.
Thank you, Julie. Good evening, everyone. IEF is so proud to have Dr. Ram here as our featured guest tonight. Dr. Ram is a conservation officer working under the Department of National Parks and Wildlife Conservation in Nepal. He has a PhD in wildlife science from the Wildlife Institute of India. He also completed a PhD on elephant ecology and elephant habitat, population, occupancy, and human-elephant conflict. He has 20 years of experience as a conservation officer, 15 years working with elephants, and has published more than 40 articles in peer-reviewed journals. So we are so happy to have him here. He was also appointed as Chief Warden of the Parsa National Park, which has a residential elephant population of about 45 animals. And IEF has funded his work for multiple years. So we have a long history of supporting his fantastic work, and we are really excited to share his knowledge with all of you. As he's talking, please make sure to put questions in the chat because we will have plenty of time at the end to go over anything that you find interesting that you want to ask him. He's a wealth of knowledge. So welcome, Dr. Ram. Thank you for being here. Namaste, all the way from Nepal. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. And shall I start now? Share my screen?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Namaste. Good morning and good evening to you all. So, respected Deborah, respected Sarah, respected Julie, and respected all the IEF family. And my heartiest namaste to you all. First of all, I would like to thank you all that IEF family, Deborah and Sarah, that provide me to present my idea, present my knowledge in this conservation chat. So today I will be going to present on Asian elephant habitat, its population and interaction with humans in Nepal, and the project which I have been covered, I get from the IEF and their progress. So as we know, Asian elephant is an endangered species. It is also a protected species in Nepal. It is confined to about 5% of the historic elephant range. And its global population is about 50,000. And in Nepal, we have very less, about 250 animals. So our objectives, which we have been carried out during our study, was to assess the status and distribution of elephant across the Nepal, their home range, size, their habitat use, and suitably how much habitat is available, and their connectivity of the patches, how they use the habitat connectivity, habitat loss status, and their fragmentation status in Nepal. And what are the patterns and determinants of elephant-related attacks on humans in Nepal with their implications for management? So our study area was Surya Tarai Madhesh landscape, which bears 6 protected area of Tarai. That is Kosi, Parsa, Chiton National Park, Banke National Park, Bardia National Park, and Shuklahata National Park. So it bears about 6 megafauna, that is rhino, elephant, wild buffalo, boar, and tigers. So, and this landscape also support about 52% of the human population. Our first objective was to landscape level assessment of elephants, how they are distributed in the landscape, or how much area they have occupied in that landscape. We use occupancy framework to know their distribution pattern in the landscape. So we have divided the entire landscape into 15 by 15 square kilometer grid. And total survey, and for each grid 9 kilometer, a transect was surveyed. Total survey per grid was is 45 kilometer, covering 60% of the grid. Each 90 kilometer was considered as a spatial sampling unit, and we have collected present substance time in every kilometer. And we also collected the sample covariate from that point. We did occupancy survey into different season, and detection and non-detection data we analyzed through the occupancy framework. So finally, we found that we covered 160 number of grids, and total grid surveyed were 143, and we have found elephant presence sign in 72 grids. We found, and in analysis, we get the naive occupancy of 0.5, and the detection probability was 0.7. So the major factor which determines the distribution of animal in that landscape is forest cover and availability of water. However, terrain is negatively, terrain readiness is negatively associated with the animal distribution. So finally, we found that the elephant are distributed in the 2 habitat, that is eastern and western habitat. You can see the eastern habitat, that is from Jhapa to, you can see the Jhapa to Chiton National Park is the one distributing elephant distributed in the eastern landscape. Similarly, in the western landscape, that is from western Kapilavastu to Kanchanpur, means there is a gap between Chiton National Park and the Kapilavastu. So there is no any presence of animal in the middle, because they are heavily settled area and highly disturbed area. So regarding elephant population estimation, we assess the population status of elephant in Nepal using a direct count method, which is a method used by the Ministry of Forest and Environment in Nepal, and also used in India. So we did population survey in to direct count in the 3 consecutive years, that is 2017, 18, and 19, and counted all the individual. We visualize all and also photograph using and get the almost 227 animals there. So we found Banke Bardia complex has higher animal, that is 113 animal. So, and these all 227 animals were residential animal. So out of these, what Sachetan Parsa complex have about 45 animal, and Jhapa has 19 animal, Kosi has 16, and Sukla Phata complex has 26 animal. So besides this, we have also about 150 migratory animal in this landscape. So what we found in 1970, there were only 50 to 55 animal. So, and this population is also now increasing to 227, means human population is also increasing. Elephant population is also increasing. So habitat fragmentation, habitat loss is also severe and resulting the increment of human elephant conflict. We also we also quantify the landscape level elephant habitat connectivity across the Nepal. And our research questions were, what is the current extent of habitat connectivity for elephant across Nepal? What are the major bottlenecks for elephant habitat connectivity in the identified distributional corridors? We use remote sensing and GIS along with the Google engine platform. We use list cost path and corridor analysis method. We also use circuit theory, centrality mapper, and pinch point mapper along with the barrier mapper to know where are the connectivity, where are the least cost path, and how animal are using that corridor. So we first of all uh, we prepare a habitat suitability map, then get the resistance surface map, and we also extracted some core area, and using least cost path, we got the major least cost. And finally, you can see the yellow lines, which are the least cost path used by the animal, by the elephant. So, and what we found, total least cost path were about 51, where only 39 least cost path were used by the animal, and about 39 are live because they are used by the animal, and dead, totally dead were 12. So total, which is covered, which is circled by the red one, these paths were not ever used by the animal. So we found the man-made live corridor. So live corridor were these live corridors were either a natural corridor or man-made corridor. And also we also map the barrier. So finally, we come to know that in Jhapa area, while the elephant entered from India to Nepal, there are where animal are bit get difficulties to pass across the road, and these all the highest barrier, you can see the red one mark, that is value was 189.6. So major barriers are in Jhapa, that is, and another are in the Kositapu and surroundings, that is the Barasetra area. And the third barrier was at the Nijgar Tangia Basti, where the Nepal has proposed an international airport, that is Nijgar Airport. And there is a great barrier I have also marked there. And similarly, these barriers are also in the west part also. So what we found, animal have the great disturbance, and where there are the barriers, there are large number of conflict also happening. We also did the track the forest loss and fragmentation in the Churetarai Madhesh landscape by using the remote sensing and GIS, and also Google Earth Engine platform. And we have prepared a map of 1930, 1975, 2000, and 2020, and also see the change between and analyze the forest loss and gain. So we analyze forest cover change and fragmentation using both the patch and landscape metrics, and considered forest fragmentation as a habitat fragmentation. We estimated the conversion of forest into a non-forest area on a grid overlay basis. We generated 5 by 5 square kilometer grids for forest cover change, analysis for the time series assessment, and analyze spatial distribution trends of forest cover in these grids from 1930 to 1975, 1975 to 2000, and 2000 to 2020. Overall, forest cover change was calculated by combining all the grids and calculating the annual reforestation rate. So, habitat fragmentation was analyzed in terms of core, perforated, edge, and patches. We use both the patch analyst and fragmentation, landscape fragmentation tool for modeling the forest fragmentation. What we found in a temporal change, we estimated about 24,000 square kilometer forest in 1930, which was decreased to 19,000 square kilometer in 2020, which was lost at an annual rate of 0.27%. The deforestation rate was 0.29%, which was higher between 1913 and 1975. So you can see also in a map that how the forest cover is changing through the time. In 1930, all the forest was intact, but you can see the red one, which will change between 1930 to 1975. But during 1975 to 2000, with less forest were in comparison to the previous one, 1930 to 1975, less forest loss was happening, and bit restoration also seen. Similarly, in case of 2000 and 2020, due to the community-based management regime, initiation of community-based management regime, the forest was restored some places, and forest loss was also decreased. And while we can see the fourth map is show the how the forest was changed from how the forest loss was changed from 2020. So what we found during 1930 to 2020, it was found that the total number of patches increased from 2001 in 1930 to 28,000 in 2020. However, the highest decrease in mid patch size is 121 kilometers square in 1930, decreased to 0.7 square kilometer in 2020, indicates that the forest has been fragmented into small patches. The mean perimeter ratio of the forest has been increased from 187 in 1930 to 1210 in 2020. The patch area increased from 0.1 to 2010.70 kilometers square between 1930 and 2020. So the eastern region lost 22.99% of forest between 1930 and 2020. The core three decreased by 57.34%. The overall forest fragmentation results such that the highest fragmentation occurred in the eastern region in core 3, followed by the central, far western, and western region. This is the map of forest fragmentation. You can see in 1930, all the forest throughout the landscape from east to west in the Chure Tarai Madhesh landscape is intact. But while it goes to 1975, the patch size, the age, everything is increased. The same thing happened in 2000 and 2020. So major findings, we found that the eastern region had recorded the highest forest fragmentation. Core forest size decreased by 43.08%, and elephant habitat is more fragmented outside the protected areas due to the high pressure of encroachment and developmental activities. The result indicated that government should prioritize conservation efforts to restore elephants' movements through corridor restorations with the human-dominated landscape. With this, now I am moving to my international elephant funded project and progress. So our first project was strengthen human-elephant coexistence in Nepal, that is 2020. 20. Study area was the total lowland of Nepal, because it was during my PhD study, and this project also supported my study. So we assess the status of human-elephant conflict in Nepal and analyze the pattern and determinants of elephant attacks on humans. We develop local resource persons on human-elephant coexistence and conduct human-elephant coexistence training and awareness among the local people to increase their tolerance towards the wild elephant. So we compile data of last 20 years uh, and did a structured questionnaire survey of all affected household, which was having the human fatality and human casualties. This questionnaire includes demography, socioeconomic status, victim behavior, activity during attack, characteristics of attacking animal, type of elephant, must, either must or tusker, habitat characteristic, land use type. So our results suggested that there were about 412 records, 274 fatalities, and 138 injuries of elephant attacks on humans. Males were more attacked than females. Victims were mostly adults, that were 71%, but ranges from 7 months to 18 years. About 25% elephant attacks occurred while people were chasing elephants, and half took place around settlements or homes. About 89% people attacked by elephants have low level of education, and most of the elephant attacks on humans, 85% to 85.2%, were caused by solitary bulls on must. A number of attacks were higher outside the area, but the difference was not significant. So in case of a spatial distribution of elephant attacks, if we'll see, this is also what our occupancy suggests. The previous occupancy suggests that like this, the human elephant conflict is also was the same. And as per the habitat connectivity and the barriers, where are the barriers, the conflict was also higher. So this spatial distribution suggests that the eastern population in the eastern Nepal has the most human elephant conflict. So while we see through the temporal distribution of the elephant attacks, during the month of the September and October and November has the severe large number of attacks. And most of the attacks are outside the protected area. Means while they are dispersing east-west, majority of the animal attacks happen. And in this time, the rice ripening season, paddy ripening season was also there. So paddy crop raiding, while people are chasing for elephants and removing elephants from their crop, the most of the events took place. And regarding the daily diurnal and distribution, we came to know that during the day after 3:30, during the day while we are in the forest, after 3:30 to 4, majority of the elephant attack was happened near the edge of the forest. The same while the animal are while in the villages, the most of the incident happen after 7:30, and it is ended up by 11. So if we will educate them that these are the time when animal attack on humans are severe, and we need to avoid them, then we will reduce the at least human death. Similarly, spatial distribution shows that the majority of attacks happen within the forest, within the 500 meter from the forest boundary. So we need to more conscious while we are entering or while residing in near the forest. Means we need to focus majority of conservation awareness program and our project work in the edge of the forest, where most of the animal are moving, dispersing, and most of the human elephant conflict happen. Most of the human death happen. So finally, we came to know that what are the factors that is associated with the human fatality. So while people are having drunk, were going for chasing the elephant, most of the attack happened. And when also people use the crackers, they also made the elephant bit more irritated, and then human deaths also happened. But fire chasing, if the people are use the fire as a chasing material, then there as the uh, we frequently chase the animal, and very less event of human death causality happening. So overall conclusion of our the first project was elephant are distributed in two subpopulations, eastern and western. 227 elephants are decided residential, and about 150 animal are migratory. Uh, Only 12,000 square kilometer area are suitable for elephant. Habitat connectivity is severed in the central Nepal, and uh, breached elephant used to disperse throughout the Chure foothills. Forest fragmentation and forest loss is severe. 21.5% forest loss in last 19 years. Forest loss is continued at an annual rate of 0.27%. Average home range size was, though I am not showing here. So we found the average home range size was 424.75 square kilometer. We also colored 10 animal, and I haven't been mentioned here. So after analysis, we found about 400 square kilometer was their average home range. We found 274 people were killed by the elephants in last 20 years. Human activities are more responsible for provoking elephant attacks. 5 out of 37 problematic bulls are causing the large extent of human deaths. And the overall progress of our first project was compile HEC data, HEC questionnaire, yes, spatio-temporal pattern of elephant attacks, analyzed HEC hotspot map, prepared 40 trainers were produced as a local resource person. HECX trainings were given to 1,107 farmers, and 2 articles we have published in the peer-reviewed journal. So in our second project, that was conserving elephants in Nepal on the COVID-19 context, that was concentrated in the Chitan Parsa complex. Our objective were to strengthen a community-based elephant response team to minimize human-elephant conflict and retaliatory killing, and also carry out regular elephant monitoring and minimizing human-elephant conflict. Our first activities was orientation training to elephant response members. We carried out one-day orientation training to 4 elephant response teams. 80 people were benefited. And second activities were procurement of and distribution of field equipment. Cameras, GPS provided to the ERT members. 20 ERT members were also provided field boots, t-shirts, jackets, and bags. Activity 3, we have supported additionally fuel breakfast to the ERT petrol team, and it was they worked very hard during the COVID-19 time period, because very less people are coming outside, and due to the less disturbance, the human elephant dispersal was higher at the crop field, and these people, these ERT members have done a lot for reducing human-elephant conflict and reducing the human death. The ERT members handle about 147 human-elephant conflict incidents during the project period. ERT also helped to community to get relief through the documentation of the human-elephant conflict cases. Ultimately, these actions of ERT help us to reduce human fatalities as they respond the problem animal elephants on time. Activities 4, we organize progress review workshop in different level, that is local level, central level, and even in the provincial level. So it was very much fruitful to us that we have shared our progress even in the Department of National Park, in the province level, in Sauraha, in the local level also. So our activities 5 was to see the impact of COVID on the elephant HEC. So illegal activities, we found that illegal activities were increased. Poaching, wood cutting was also, snaring was also used, and also the number of offense, wildlife crime related offense was also increased during that time, because security people, uh, due to this COVID, there were less movement, and even people who are in the home, they just went to the jungle, and this kind of some activities was increased. So overall progress was about, it was benefited about 60 to 70 elephant, and 80 members of 4 ART teams were benefited, and about 6,000 local community directly benefited, indirectly benefited from ART service to on reducing human elephant conflict. This project indirectly benefited about 1,500 kilometer square of the elephant habitat. 19 days patrol of were carried out, which cover about 1,700 kilometer distance. Besides elephant, tiger, rhino, boar, common leopard are also benefited. So we mapped the HCC hotspot, and overall impact of COVID on elephant conservation was also assessed in the Chitan Parsa complex. Our third project was elephant conservation in the Kosi Tapu and surrounding landscape of eastern Nepal. Our objective were setting up the dedicated and well-equipped elephant response team to respond elephant human conflict, increase community tolerance towards elephant, and strengthen human-elephant coexistence. So we established well-equipped and dedicated ERT team. One vehicle was provided by government of Nepal, that is from Kositubu Wildlife Reserve to ERT. Actually, this vehicle was used for patrolling in that area. The ERT team has been provided, yes. And we mapped the human elephant conflict hotspot of Kositapu Wildlife Reserve and surroundings. So we also distributed a large number of publication materials, that is booklets and pamphlets. And this material was produced with close coordination with US Fish and Wildlife Service supported project by Ujalo Nepal and the IEF also. So I have some given here. And we also did some village level meetings with the ERT members. And overall progress of our 2022 project was we set up a well-equipped ERT, which is led by a park ranger, 6 park rangers, 640 community members, 60 students, 10 teachers, and 30 community-based elephant response team were benefited. One four-wheel drive, 8 ERT members have patrol 10 days per month and covered about 2,200 kilometers distance during patrolling. About 345 kilometers square of forest area was benefited or protected. 20 events of village level HCX training were provided to 640 participants. 1,000 copy of HCX booklet in local language and 1,000 copy of HCX posters were produced and distributed among the HCC affected communities and stakeholder. Out of 10,000 copies of each, the project contributed, our project contributed about 1,500 copies of each. And the recent project which is now running is community-based elephant conservation in central Nepal. And our goal right now is strengthen HEX and minimize retaliation of wild elephant, and strengthen capacity and care of captive elephants through capacity building of mouths. And our objectives were strengthen and mobilize village level elephant response team for managing human elephant conflict, village level sensitization local people for changing their behaviors, strengthen coordination and cooperation among 3 tiers of government, local, provincial, and federal, strengthen the capacity of mouths and improve captive elephant welfare, carry out real-time based crop rating assessment. These are our objective, and we have started our project, and we did a meeting with the chief minister, and we initiate a project by briefing about the project, and also carried out one coordination meeting with them, and also carried out another 2 meetings with local level metropolitan city leader, the mayors, and they started our project now. and other activities are now under processing. We are doing these are we will do in near future. So we also published 3 articles from our projects. Thank you so much, Sarah. And I will take some time. And now, if any suggestion and queries, please. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much. I think if everyone watching is like me, I think everyone's very impressed with the amount of work you've been doing. While we let people gather their thoughts, why don't you talk to us a little bit about how you got started in elephant conservation? When you were a kid, did you always love elephants and want to start doing wildlife conservation, or how did you get involved?
Yeah, people, while animal went to their territory, they inform us, and we together went to their territory and meet them and aware them that not to go near and near to the animal. We together can remove from the settlements or their crop field. And we also, our ERT members, while they are in the village, while they get the information, they immediately went there and they to tell them to, yes, keep away from them. So this will help. But sometimes while during the night, or if the incident happening area was far from the elephant, ERT members or from our office, while they are outside the protected area, so that time we get some difficulties and some incident happen. Though people, not all the people are negative to elephants, but they are only their objective is to protect their houses, protect their crops, because they are sustain very poor farmers, and their houses are even made up wood house, even thatch grass houses, and they are from poor family, even they have a low level of education. So sometimes they only think that our we need to protect our property, so this kind of incident happened. So now there, with this, with our the project, gradually we are, convincing people, educating people, and most of the people, positive to elephant conservation, and they are just leave the way while they enter into the settlement. They leave the way, left the way, but only some kids and some cases of uh, incident happened. Anyway, because the large area, large patches, uh, elephant while entered from Assam to Mechi area, and while entered to Chitan Parsa complex, there is about 400-kilometer stretch now, and most of the area and are fragmented, and forest are in uh, forest patches are being smaller, and while they come out from the forest patches, they just move through the settlement. So during the night, they are fond of using that settlement and thus cross the road. But while animal come into the settlements, people just come out crying and slaughtering, so snorting. So lots of people came together because they have some scared, they scared, and they have some fear that they will killed, and so that's why some incidents were happening.
Right. So speaking of elephants going into settlements, there's a question in the chat. They're asking, can you describe in more detail how the ERT members have removed elephants from the settlements? What are some of the lessons that they've learned through that? So
Yeah, why?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, while animal come to the settlement, we have an idea that how animal are moving and where these animals are. Not all the animals in Nepal, herds are not dispersing in a large distance. So only the loners, 3-4 elephants, either they are in the group or they are loners. they can move. And we have an idea about them, that where these animals are. So while their movement, they just came out, we just got informed, and we went immediately there. We removed the people from the ERT member removed the people uh, around the elephant side, and let the elephant go to the safe zone. So this kind of thing our ERT members are doing, and they are chasing elephant by using, four-wheel drive sometimes, and sometimes we also use, these JCB, sometimes excavator, because sometimes this problem animal are not, tolerating the people's noise, and sometimes we need some loud noise to remove them from the settlement. So sometimes we also use tractors. These ERT members also use the tractor and we get it in the from the settlement with the support of community and community people, not only our, ERT members. ERT members, along with the community people, with their support of tractors, even they also provide JCB and their drivers to chase the animal towards the safe place towards the jungle, towards the
Right.
forest. So like this.
Have you found that if the ERTs are more responsive to the communities, that the communities itself are more open to elephant conservation and kind of less hostile toward elephants?
Yeah, ERT, Sarah, ERT, community people from the us, and while they get support from ERT, they have, additional support, and they join together. Otherwise they feel they are almost alone, and while our team join them, they feel stronger, and they move behind the animal. So and now community has also with our support, with our education, and lots of other NGOs are also INGOs are also working on this. But what our ERT member doing is very best, because they are going closer, working with the community. They stay with community during the elephant stay, the whole stay. So they are together chasing the animal. So it is very much fruitful to us and the elephant. And while our people are going, non-event were happening. All the events happened while our people were not and will not be there. So mostly they happen during the nights. So this is the thing.
Right. Okay.
Now committee are also slowly and gradually taking their ownership to protect animal, and even but only some people are now, some are against it, but more majority of people, because we people in here are Hindus, and even some Buddhists are here, and they worship also God. So very less event, as compared to their damage. If animal went to their any village, do lots of damages, and even lots of hurt. Even a single night, they do damage 16, 17, 18 hearts in a single night. So people, are poor, and that's why they also need some protection. And then, so that's why some people are get aggressive, and while our people, our ERT will be there, and then their aggression uh, calm down, and their tolerance level getting higher and higher. So this will help us. These are the process there way helping us.
Absolutely. Because when their security is threatened, of course, they're not going to be, happy
Yeah.
with the elephants. So, yeah. So we have another question about one of your slides. So I think it's your 2021 overall conclusion slide. If you want to scroll back to that, she's asking, it's the 2021 one, I believe. Yeah. There.
Yeah.
She's asking, what do you mean by 33 elephants retaliated in the context of 274 people killed in the last 20 years. Let's see. I don't see that on that slide.
37 elephant retaliated.
Oh, she's saying it's an earlier slide. Maybe go back to the 2020 conclusions. Here we go.
This one?
Yes. Yeah, so she's asking about the 274 people killed by elephants in the last 20 years, and the 33 elephants retaliated. Can you explain what that means about 33 elephants retaliated?
Yeah, Sarah, what happened? It is the last tenure, no, 20 years so in the beginning, people don't have so much knowledge about animal, and they are going closer and closer, because it was 1934, the first time elephants from Assam, from India, came to Jhapa and just entered to settlements and approaching towards the west. So lots of people were chasing the animal, and while elephant, reverse back, more people got injured, and some also got, death. And during this time frame, lots of people when creating, because we are not using so lots of conservation awareness program, and we don't have lots of people aware, even government people who are working in the forest, they don't have much more knowledge about the animal behavior, how they, their aggression happen, how they chase, and how can we save her from the animal. So they are fond of using, electric current to protect their houses, their crop field, and most of the events were happen while animal just dispersing through their, crop field and houses. They got, injured, or they got electrocuted in that field. So this kind of retaliation happened, and sometimes, outside the forest, outside the protected area, uh, the animal while dispersing, they were got injured, because lots of people have guns, and they use the gun for chasing the animal. So that's why some animal were also retaliated with the gunshot. This is the happening. So that's why during the 20 years tenure, these 33 elephants were retaliated. Means almost 2 animal per year, or 1.5 animal per year were retaliated.
Yeah, so these are retaliatory killings, almost 2 per year. So yeah, that's difficult, which is why your work is so important to reduce that number. So we have someone asking about tracking the elephants. Do you use any satellite collars or any equipment to track the elephants' movements?
Yeah, this time not, but we collared 10 elephants previously. All are now dropped down, and we track the animal. And mostly we use color with the problematic animal. And our aim was to do real-time monitoring, that we would have the knowledge about where the animal is going. If they are entering into the settlements, then our team, our ERT, and our security team will be there, and they remove the animal from the settlement and safely return back to the forest. That's why we collared 10 animal. But right now we didn't have any collared animal, but we are planning to collar 2-3 animal, because that were bit problematic right now.
Okay, great, thank you. More questions. So Nepal's location, you're bordered by India on the south, China in the north. Can you discuss the sort of resident population of the elephants versus the migratory elephant populations? Because I know you were talking before we started about how elephants come up from India into Nepal, and maybe talk about that case that you were just dealing with last week.
Yeah. Yes, I will show you one map here. Yeah. So if you can see in the right side, right corner, this is the boundary of, Mechi River, which connects India, the Assam, West Bengal, India. And animal from Assam via West Bengal, yes, came to the Jhapa territory. So about 100 to 150 animal used to come each year to the Mechi River, and most of them return back. Only some loners, 15 to 16 animal, just enter into Nepal territory because there are some kinds of fencing done to protect the crop. So uh, some animals, some about 20 to 30 animal in a herd can enter into the Nepal, and they can move up to Letang this year. So these about 100 animal, they are used to come each year from Jhapa to Jhapa from India, from West Bengal in the eastern part. Similarly, in the western part, while we are going to the Kanchanpur area in the far west, there is about 50 to 60 animal. They came from Nandor, even from the Pilibhit area, from Dudhwa Tiger Reserve to Suklafata Wildlife Reserve. Previously Suklafata, now Suklafata National Park. And in case of Bardia, this area, in Bardia also, some 50 to 60 animal also come from Patarnia Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary. So about 150 animal in the whole Nepal, they just are migratory visitors from India to Nepal. So, and these are the source population actually for Nepal, Sahara, because you can see our population is being increased. So we have very less residential population right now, that time, but our population, residential population is being increased, being stable. Why? Because of this migratory dispersing population. Thank you.
Interesting. That's amazing. So before we started the chat, you were talking about a lone bull elephant that came in and caused some trouble. Maybe you can share that story with our
Yeah.
viewers.
So actually, during July, the 5 animals from eastern Nepal, you can see here from Jhapa, maybe they are leaving the group, leaving the herd, and just traversing towards the west. They come up to Kosi, from Jhapa. In June, they came to Jhapa. In July, they reach up to Kosi Tapu Wildlife Reserve. That is this area. And in August, they came to, this Tangia Basti. So in a month, in August, in a single month, in 30 days, they just traverse from Kosi Tapu to Tangia Basti, which is near to Parsa National Park. And the distance between them is at least 250 kilometers. And then they used to come to our elephant stable in Parsa National Park. They were actually 5 in a herd, but they separated while they entered into Tangia. They separated 2 in a group, another 2 in a group, and single was Yamgas. And he was fond of, breeding with our animal, our female elephant in our stable, and he stayed there 1 month. So whole September, he stay in the elephant stable in the Parsa National Park. And after that, there was a male that is Narayan Gas. You want to, remove that and want to attack those male, that is the captive one. So we remove from that male to our station, that is our office, Adhavar. And after 7 days, he again came to Adhavar in our office headquarters, where we kept that Narayan Gas. And he again wants to attack inside our office premises. So again, we remove that Narayan Gas and send back to the 50 kilometers far from our headquarters. And the Yamgaj stayed there about 7 days in our territory, in office territory, even inside our office sometimes. So after in the 7th day, that was our Diwali festival, that is Yam Panchak kind of thing. That is holy festival. So we put their name as a Yam Gas. So finally he went again to the elephant stable when that is at Amleganj, and he stayed for 3 days and attacked one woman who was going to graze their cattle and collecting some fodder, and she was killed inside the forest. That was happened, and the people were just against that animal, and that's why some incident was continuously happen. And after that we remove elephant again 50 kilometers far, that is inside the core area, that is Bhatha area, and animal, this Yamgat again went to that area. So continuously they are following that elephant, and after 5 months, after 5 months being closed at that group, he left that stable and going out. And ultimately, just 15 days ago, he killed another woman in the jungle. So that is the story of that Yamgas. He is continuously monitored by our team, our ERD members. Now he is in safe zone, and people are also in safe zone. But we people, some people who are residing in the nearby the edge of the forest are poor. They went for collecting grasses, fodder, even water, and the animal are inside. So that's why the majority of incident happen. This is the case, Sarah.
Wow.
A small story of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a completely different perspective on everyday living than what we have here. But just the fact that the progression of that kind of thing, it just bolsters how important your work is and how important teaching coexistence is. So thank you very much. I think we are coming up on an hour. So that's what we told everyone it would be. And there are no more questions in the chat. So I'm going to turn it over to Julie to wrap up. But thank you so much for being here. I know I learned a lot, and it was a pleasure to see your presentation and hear about all of your amazing work.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Ram. We really appreciate you coming on this evening with us. And we appreciate all of the viewers as well. So as I had said in the beginning, if you signed up through the Constant Contact link, you will automatically be on a list to get a recording of tonight's presentation. And if you did not do that, you can email me directly if you like, and I will make sure that you get a copy of the video. And if any of you are so inclined, if you'd like to make a donation to help support some of Dr. Ram's work, you can always do that through our website. I see that we some people here on the call tonight are some regular donors. So thank you all very much. We appreciate you, and we hope to see you next month for our next month's conservation chat. And before we go, I would like everybody to turn their cameras on, and let's give Dr. Ram a round of applause.
Yay. Thank you so much, Dr. Ram. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
I know it's...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My kind regards to you all. Thank you.